It has always been about her from the beginning. Always about her. She has always gotten everything and anything she wanted. I have always been the one who had to understand, who had to adjust, to be patient, to let go, to consider each time I needed anything. And I did that out of genuine love, but this particular one has scarred my heart. I feel betrayed by the very people who birthed me, Yara yelled, talking to her parents. You know how much Paris meant to me. You asked me to give up that scholarship. And now Mina just gets to go. Suddenly there's money. Suddenly Paris isn't too far anymore. I need to ask you both one question. Are you truly my parents? Because I'm starting to wonder if I'm even your biological child. Yara walked out, slamming the door behind her. Do you think she overreacted? Before you answer that, let me take you back to where this all started. Hit that subscribe button, because you need to hear the full story. Let me show you the moment everything changed. Yara was staring at the acceptance letter in Mina's hand when she felt something inside her go completely still, like water, right before it turns to ice. For a moment, it felt like her heart had stopped working. Paris, Mina was saying, waving the paper around like a flag. Can you believe it? A whole year abroad. They're covering everything. Tuition, housing, even a stipend. Their mother was beaming. Their father had his arm around Mina's shoulder, pride radiating off him in waves. And Yara was standing in the doorway of their parents' living room, holding the bottle of wine she'd brought for dinner, watching her sister get the exact thing she'd been told no to 3 years ago. The exact same program, the exact same university, the exact same city. Yara, isn't this amazing? Her mother said, finally noticing her. Yara's mouth moved automatically. Yeah, congratulations, Mina. Mina didn't even look at her. She was too busy scrolling through her phone, probably already texting people, already planning her escape. Their father cleared his throat. We should celebrate. Yara, open that wine. She did, because that's what she always did. She opened the wine, poured the glasses, sat through dinner listening to them plan Mina's future like it was the only future that mattered. And the whole time, she kept thinking about the conversation she'd had with these same 2 people when she was 21. Paris is too far, her father had said. You have responsibilities here, her mother had added. Your grandmother needs help, and honestly, Yara, we can't afford it. Yara had shown them the scholarship letter. Full tuition, housing stipend. Everything covered, just like Mina's now. Her mother had barely looked at it. It's not just about money. Mina's still in high school. She needs you around. That was 3 years ago. Mina had been 16, not a child. But Yara had folded the letter, put it back in the envelope, and told the program she couldn't accept. Now Mina was 20, the same age Yara had been, and suddenly Paris wasn't too far. Suddenly the family could manage without one of them. Suddenly a year abroad was an incredible opportunity that couldn't be missed. You're quiet, her father said, looking at her across the table. Yara took a sip of wine. Just tired. Work's been busy. You work too hard, her mother said, but it didn't sound like concern. It sounded like an observation, filed away and forgotten. Mina launched into a story about one of her professors, the one who'd recommended her for the program, and Yara stared at her. Mina was animated, glowing, completely unaware that she was holding something that had been ripped out of Yara's hands before she'd even had a chance to hold it properly. And the worst part, the part that made Yara's chest feel tight, was that Mina had no idea. She didn't know Yara had applied to the same program. Their parents had never told her. Why would they? It would have just complicated things. After dinner, Yara helped clear the table while Mina sat on the couch video calling her friends. Their mother was rinsing plates, humming something under her breath. Mum, Yara said, keeping her voice even. Do you remember when I applied to that program? The one in Paris? Her mother didn't even pause. Oh, that was different. How was it different? You were needed here. The situation was different. What situation? Mina was 16. She didn't need me to babysit her. Her mother finally looked at her, and there was something in her expression that Yara recognized. Impatience. Like Yara was being difficult on purpose. Yara, why are you bringing this up now? This is Mina's moment. Don't make it about you. That sentence landed like a slap. Don't make it about you. As if wanting the same opportunities as her sister was selfish, as if pointing out the unfairness was ruining something. Yara put down the dish towel. I'm not making it about me. I'm asking why the rules changed. There are no rules, her mother said, turning back to the sink. Every situation is different. You've always been more grounded, more practical. Mina needs this experience to grow. You were already grown at her age. There it was. The justification Yara had heard her entire life, wrapped in a compliment that wasn't a compliment at all. You're stronger. You're more mature. You don't need the same things. Yara left early that night. She hugged Mina, congratulated her again, and drove home, with her hands gripping the steering wheel so hard her knuckles ached. She sat in her car outside her apartment building, staring at nothing, replaying every moment she'd been told to understand, to adjust, to be the bigger person. It wasn't just Paris. It was the car their parents bought Mina for her 18th birthday, after telling Yara at the same age that she needed to save up for her own. It was the bedroom. Yara had shared a room with Mina until she was 17. When she'd asked if they could convert the basement into a space for her, her father had said it was too expensive. 2 years later, they renovated it into a study lounge for Mina. It was every family dinner where Yara's schedule had to bend, but Mina's didn't. Every argument Yara had mediated. Every time she'd cancelled plans because someone else needed her. She'd thought it was love. She'd thought being the dependable one meant being valued. But sitting in that car, staring at her reflection in the rearview mirror, Yara realized something that made her stomach turn. She wasn't valued, she was useful. And the moment she stopped being useful, she'd be just as easy to dismiss as she was right now. Her phone buzzed, a text from Mina. Thanks for being happy for me. Love you. Yara stared at the message. Mina meant it. That was the worst part. Mina loved her, genuinely, but it was the kind of love that didn't cost her anything. Mina had never had to choose Yara over herself because she'd never been asked to. Yara typed back, "Love you too." Then she turned off her phone and went inside. The next few weeks were a blur. Mina's departure dominated every family conversation. There were shopping trips for luggage, endless questions about vaccinations and visas, a going-away party that Yara helped plan because of course she did. And through all of it, Yara smiled. She showed up. She played her part. But something had shifted. She started noticing things she'd trained herself to ignore, like how her mother called her when she needed something picked up or handled, but called Mina just to chat. Like how her father asked about her job in the same tone someone might ask about the weather, but asked Mina about her dreams. At the going-away party, one of their aunts pulled Yara aside. "You must be so proud of your sister." "I am," Yara said. "And you're okay with her going so far?" The question confused her. "Why wouldn't I be?" The aunt lowered her voice. "I just thought, since you gave up your spot for her." Yara went cold. "What?" "Your mum told me, years ago. You had a chance to study abroad but stayed back so Mina wouldn't be alone. That's real sisterly love." The aunt walked away, and Yara stood there, reeling. Her mother had told people, had spun it into some noble sacrifice, had turned Yara's forced choice into a story about selflessness. She found her mother in the kitchen, arranging food on trays. "You told Aunt Grace I gave up Paris for Mina." Her mother glanced up. "Well, you did, didn't you?" "No. You told me I couldn't go. You said we couldn't afford it and that I was needed here." "Same thing." "It's not the same thing at all." Her mother sighed, setting down the tray. "Yara, what do you want me to say? That we made a choice? Fine, we made a choice. Parents make choices, and it worked out. Look at you. You have a good job, your own place. You're fine. And if I'm not fine? Her mother looked at her like she'd spoken a foreign language. But you are. You've always been fine. That's who you are. Yara felt something crack open in her chest. What if I didn't want to be? Then you should have said something. The simplicity of it was devastating. The idea that Yara's silence had been consent, that by not falling apart, she'd somehow agreed to hold everyone else together. I did say something, Yara said quietly. I said I wanted to go to Paris. You said no. Because it wasn't the right time? For who? Her mother's face hardened. Don't do this. Not today. This is Mina's day. Yara walked out of the kitchen. She walked past the party, past the people laughing and celebrating, and out the front door. She sat on the porch steps and called the one person who might understand. Her friend Jordan answered on the second ring. Hey, aren't you supposed to be at Mina's thing? I need to ask you something, Yara said, and I need you to be honest. Okay. Do you think I let people walk over me? Jordan was quiet for a moment. Too long. Jordan? I think, Jordan said carefully, that you're really good at making other people comfortable, sometimes at your own expense. Why didn't you say anything? Would you have listened? Yara didn't have an answer for that. Listen, Jordan continued. I love you, but you've spent your whole life being the person everyone can count on. At some point, you have to ask yourself what you're getting in return. Yara ended the call and sat there as the sun started to set. Inside, she could hear music playing, people laughing, Mina's voice rising above the rest, bright and unburdened. She thought about going back in. She thought about finishing the party, helping clean up, making sure everyone got home safe. Instead, she got in her car and drove home. She didn't answer when her mother called an hour later, or when Mina texted asking where she went. She sat in her apartment, in the dark, and let herself feel everything she'd been pushing down for years. The anger, the grief, the bone-deep exhaustion of being strong for people who never asked if she needed to rest. 3 days later, she went back to work and found an email waiting for her. A colleague had forwarded an opportunity, a communications position with an NGO based in Berlin. It was a 2-year contract, full relocation package, and they were looking for someone who could start in 3 months. Yara read it twice, then she read it again. She thought about her apartment lease, up for renewal next month. She thought about her job, which was fine, but not fulfilling. She thought about her family, and how little would actually change if she left. She applied that night. 2 weeks later, she got a call for an interview. A week after that, they offered her the position. She accepted before she could talk herself out of it. Then came the hard part, telling her family. She waited until Sunday dinner. Mina was leaving for Paris in 2 weeks, and the house was chaos. Half-packed boxes everywhere, her mother constantly on the phone arranging last-minute details, her father printing out emergency contact lists. Yara sat at the table and waited for a pause in the conversation. I have some news, she said. Her mother looked up from her phone. I got a job offer, in Berlin. Mina's head snapped up. What? It's a 2-year contract with an NGO. I start in 3 months. The silence was immediate and heavy. Her father put down his fork. Berlin? Germany? Yes. For 2 years. Yes. Her mother's expression was unreadable. When were you planning to tell us you were looking? I wasn't looking. A colleague sent me the posting. I applied on impulse. And you accepted without talking to us first? Yara felt something hot flash through her chest. I'm 24. I don't need permission. No one said you need permission, her father said, his voice careful. But this is sudden. Very sudden. Not really. Mina's leaving in 2 weeks. I figured it was a good time for me to make a move too. Her mother stood up. This is completely different. How? Mina's program is a year. You're talking about 2 years. And Berlin is much farther than Paris. It's a 3-hour flight difference. Don't be smart, Yara. You know what I mean. Yara stood too. No, I don't. Explain it to me. Her mother's jaw tightened. Mina is going for school. This is structured, supervised. You're talking about moving to another country for a job we know nothing about. You didn't ask about the job. You just assumed it wasn't good enough. That's not what I said. It's what you meant. Mina cut in, her voice small. Why Berlin? Yara looked at her sister, really looked at her. Mina seemed genuinely confused, like the idea of Yara wanting something for herself was incomprehensible. Why not? Yara said. I don't understand. You have everything here. Your job, your apartment, us. And you have everything here too, but you're still leaving. That's different. There it was again. That word. Stop saying it's different, Yara said, her voice rising. It's not different. We both got opportunities to leave. The only difference is everyone's happy about yours. Her father raised his hands. We're not unhappy. We're just concerned. This seems rushed. Rushed? I've been thinking about leaving for 3 years, ever since you told me I couldn't go to Paris. Her mother's expression shifted. So this is about that, still? It's not about Paris. It's about every single time I've been told to sacrifice what I want because someone else needs me more. That's not fair, Mina said, and there were tears in her eyes now. I never asked you to sacrifice anything. You didn't have to. That's the point. Yara's mother stepped forward. What exactly are you accusing us of? I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm telling you I'm leaving. Right when Mina needs you most. The room went still. Yara stared at her mother. Mina is 20 years old and about to spend a year in Paris. She doesn't need me. She's never needed me. You just convinced me she did, so I'd stay. That's not true, Mina said, her voice breaking. I do need you. You're my sister. Then be happy for me the way I've been happy for you. Mina looked stricken. I am happy for you. I just don't understand why it has to be now, why it has to be so far. Because if I don't go now, I never will. You'll come back from Paris, and there will be something else. Someone will need something, and I'll be the one who has to give it, because I always do. Her father stood slowly. Yara, I think you need to take a breath. You're upset. I'm not upset. I'm done. Done with what? Her mother asked, and her voice had an edge now. Done being the one who adjusts. Done being the one who understands. Done making myself smaller so everyone else can be bigger. No one asked you to make yourself small. You didn't have to ask. You just expected it. Her mother's face flushed. That's unfair. We've supported you your entire life. You've leaned on me my entire life. There's a difference. The words hung in the air, sharp and final. Mina was crying openly now. I can't believe you're doing this, right before I leave. Mina, Yara said, and her voice softened despite everything. I love you, but I can't keep putting my life on hold for yours. I never asked you to. I know. That's what made it so easy to expect. Her father tried one more time. What if we talked about this after Mina leaves, gave everyone some time to process? There's nothing to process. I already accepted the job. I'm leaving in 3 months. Her mother crossed her arms. And what are we supposed to do? Just accept this? Yes. What about your grandmother? She's getting older, Yara. She needs family close. She has you. She has Dad. She has Mina when she gets back. But she relies on you. Then she'll have to rely on someone else. Her mother's expression hardened into something Yara had never seen before. You're being selfish. The word hit like a punch. Good, Yara said. It's about time. She walked out. She didn't go back for 2 weeks, didn't answer calls, didn't respond to the group chat that kept pinging with messages from her mother, her father, even distant relatives who'd somehow heard about her situation. Mina texted every day. Please talk to me. I don't understand what I did wrong. Mum's crying. Dad won't say anything. This feels like my fault. Yara wanted to respond, wanted to tell Mina it wasn't about her. Not really. But every time she started typing, she stopped. Because it was about Mina. Not because Mina had done something wrong, but because the entire family structure had been built around protecting Mina's comfort at the cost of Yara's. And Mina had never once questioned it. The day before Mina's flight, Yara's phone rang. Not a text, a call, from Mina. She almost didn't answer. But something, maybe guilt, maybe habit, made her pick up. "Thank God," Mina breathed. "I thought you weren't going to answer." "What do you want, Mina?" "I'm leaving tomorrow. I can't go like this, please." Yara closed her eyes. "Like what?" "With you hating me." "I don't hate you." "Then why does it feel like you do?" Yara sat down on her couch. "Because for the first time in my life I chose myself over you, and you can't handle it. That's not fair. Isn't it? You have everything, Mina. Everything I wanted and was told I couldn't have. And you still need me to make you feel okay about it." Mina was quiet for a long time. When she spoke again, her voice was small. "I didn't know. About Paris. About any of it." "Would it have mattered if you did?" "Yes, of course it would have." "Really? Would you have turned down the program?" Silence. "That's what I thought," Yara said. "That's not fair," Mina said again, stronger this time. "You can't ask me to give up my dreams because you gave up yours. I'm not asking you to give up anything. I'm asking you to see that I gave up everything, and nobody cared as long as it was convenient. I care. You care now, because it's affecting you. Where were you every time Mom called me instead of you? Every time Dad asked me to handle something because you were too stressed? Every time I cancelled my plans so you wouldn't have to? I didn't know you felt like that. Because I didn't tell you. Because I was too busy being the strong one." Mina's breath hitched. "So, what do you want from me? An apology? Fine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't notice. I'm sorry you felt like you had to sacrifice for me. I'm sorry I'm not perfect like you." "I'm not perfect. That's the point. I'm just better at pretending." "Then stop pretending. Stop acting like you're fine all the time and then getting mad when people believe you." The words landed hard, because they were true. Yara had spent so long being fine that she'd forgotten how to ask for help. She'd trained everyone around her to expect her strength, and now she was angry they hadn't seen through the performance. "You're right," Yara said quietly. "I should have said something, years ago. But I'm saying it now. I'm leaving. And I need you to let me go without making it about how it affects you." "How can I do that? You're my sister." "Then be my sister. Be happy for me." "I am happy for you. I just wish you weren't running away." Yara felt anger flare again. "I'm not running. I'm choosing. For once in my life, I'm choosing what I want. And if that looks like running to you, maybe you should ask yourself why." Mina didn't have an answer for that. "I have to go," Yara said. "Wait, can I see you, before I leave?" Yara wanted to say no, wanted to protect herself from whatever last-minute guilt trip was coming, but she heard the genuine fear in Mina's voice, and something in her couldn't refuse. "Okay, tomorrow morning, before you go to the airport." "Thank you," Mina whispered. They met at a coffee shop halfway between their apartments. Mina was already there when Yara arrived, sitting in a corner booth, her hands wrapped around a cup she hadn't touched. She looked up when Yara walked in, and her face did something complicated, relief and hurt all at once. "Hi," Mina said. "Hi." Yara sat down across from her. Up close, she could see Mina had been crying. Her eyes were red, her face puffy. "You look like hell," Yara said. "I feel like it." Mina tried to smile, but it didn't land. "I've been up all night thinking." "About?" "Everything. Us. How we got here." Yara didn't say anything. Mina took a shaky breath. "I wrote down things I wanted to say, because I knew if I didn't, I'd mess it up." She pulled out her phone, hands trembling slightly. "Can I read them to you?" "Go ahead." Mina looked at her screen. "I'm sorry I didn't see you, really see you. I'm sorry I took your help for granted. I'm sorry I got things you didn't get and never thought to ask why." She paused, her voice cracking. "I'm sorry I made loving me so hard for you." Yara felt her throat tighten. "But," Mina continued, "I don't think I'm the only one who's wrong here. Yara looked up sharply. What? You never told me. About Paris. About feeling like you always came second. About any of it. You just smiled and helped and pretended everything was fine. And then you got mad at me for believing you. I shouldn't have had to tell you. You should have noticed. Maybe. But I was a kid for most of it, Yara. And then I was a teenager. And you were so good at handling everything that it never occurred to me you were struggling. That's not an excuse. I'm not making excuses. I'm trying to explain. You built this wall where you were strong and I was weak. And maybe I leaned on that too much. But you built the wall. Yara felt defensive anger rise. So this is my fault? No, it's all of our faults. Mom and Dad for putting too much on you, me for taking it, and you for never saying stop. I tried. Did you? Really? Because from where I'm sitting, the first time you actually said no was 2 weeks ago. Everything before that was just quiet resentment. Yara wanted to argue, wanted to list all the times she'd pushed back, all the moments she'd tried to set boundaries. But when she really thought about it, Mina was right. She'd bent and adjusted and accommodated and called it love when really it was fear. Fear of being difficult, fear of being too much, fear of not being needed anymore. I thought if I was useful enough, I'd be valuable, Yara said quietly. Mina's eyes filled with tears. You were always valuable. You're my sister. That's not conditional. Isn't it? Mom called me selfish for choosing myself. Dad looked at me like I was betraying the family. And you cried like I was abandoning you. Because it felt like you were. See, that's the problem. Me living my life feels like abandonment to you. Because I've been so busy living yours. Mina wiped her eyes. I know. And I'm sorry. I really am. But Yara, I'm scared. Of what? That you're going to Berlin and you're never coming back. That this is how we end. Yara felt something break in her chest. Mina, I thought you'd always choose us. Choose me. And finding out you won't, finding out you can't, it's terrifying. There it was, the truth that neither of them had wanted to say out loud. Yara had always been the sure thing, the constant, and now she was leaving, and Mina didn't know how to be a sister to someone who wouldn't always put her first. I can't choose you over myself anymore, Yara said. It's killing me. I know, I see that now. Do you? Because you keep asking me to stay, you keep making this about what you need. Because I don't know how to let you go. Yara reached across the table and took Mina's hand. Then learn, the same way I'm learning to choose myself. Mina squeezed her fingers. What if we can't fix this? Maybe we can't, not the way it was. But maybe we can build something new, something where we're both allowed to want things. I want you in my life. I want that too, but not at the cost of my own. They sat there, hands clasped, both crying now. I leave in 4 hours, Mina finally said. I know. Will you come, to the airport? Yara hesitated. Every instinct told her to say yes, to show up, to be there, to make Mina's goodbye easier. But that's exactly what had gotten her here. No, Yara said gently. This needs to be yours, not ours. Mina's face crumpled. Please. Mina, you're going to Paris. You're going to have an incredible year. And you need to do it without me holding your hand. I don't know if I can. You can. You've just never had to before. Mina pulled her hand back, hurt flashing across her face. So that's it? You're just done? I'm not done. I'm letting go. There's a difference. Doesn't feel different. I know. But it is. They sat in silence for a while. People came and went around them. Life continued, indifferent to their pain. Finally, Mina stood. I should go. Mum and Dad are waiting. Yara stood too. Have a safe flight. Mina looked at her, really looked at her, and something passed between them. Understanding, maybe. Or acceptance. Or just grief for what they'd been and couldn't be anymore. I love you, Mina said. I love you too. They hugged, and it felt like goodbye, in a way nothing else had. When Mina pulled away, she was crying again. Berlin's lucky to get you. Paris is lucky to get you. Mina gave her one last look, then walked out of the coffee shop. Yara sat back down. She stayed there for a long time, staring at her cold coffee, feeling the weight of what she'd just done. She'd let her sister leave without fixing things, without making it okay, without being the bridge. And it hurt. God, it hurt. But for the first time in her life, the hurt was hers to carry, not someone else's to avoid. Her parents showed up at her apartment 3 days after Mina left. Yara hadn't expected them. She was packing boxes, sorting through what to take to Berlin and what to leave behind, when she heard the knock. She opened the door and found them standing there. Her mother's face was drawn. Her father looked exhausted. "We need to talk," her mother said. It wasn't a request. Yara stepped aside and let them in. They stood in her small living room, looking at the boxes stacked against the walls, the half-empty shelves, the evidence of her leaving written in every corner. Her father spoke first. "You're really doing this?" "Yes. Even after everything we said." "Especially after everything you said." Her mother's jaw tightened. "We came here to try to understand, to fix this before it's too late." "There's nothing to fix. I made a choice. A choice that's tearing this family apart." Yara felt the old instinct rise, the urge to soothe, to apologize, to make this easier for them. She pushed it down. "I'm not tearing anything apart. I'm just leaving." "It's the same thing," her mother said. "Mina left for the airport in tears. She barely said goodbye to us. She's devastated." "She'll be fine." "How can you say that? How can you be so cold?" "Because I've spent 24 years being warm and it got me nowhere." Her father stepped forward. "Yara, please, help us understand. What did we do that was so terrible you have to run away?" "I'm not running. And you didn't do one terrible thing. You did 1,000 small things, and they added up." "Like what?" her mother demanded. Yara looked at her, really looked at her. "Like telling me I couldn't go to Paris but letting Mina go. Like buying Mina a car but making me save for my own. Like renovating the basement for her after telling me it was too expensive for me. Like calling me when you need something but calling her just to talk." Her mother's face flushed. "Those situations were different." "Stop saying that. They weren't different. You just loved her more freely than you loved me." "That's not true. Isn't it? When was the last time you asked me what I wanted? Not what I needed, not what made sense. What I actually wanted." Her mother opened her mouth, then closed it. "Exactly," Yara said. "You can't remember. Because my wants never mattered as much as everyone else's needs." Her father tried a different approach. "We relied on you because you were capable, because you were strong. That's not a bad thing. It is when you mistake strength for not needing anything. I needed support. I needed someone to ask if I was okay. I needed to be allowed to fall apart sometimes. But I was never given that option because Mina was already taking up all the space for being messy." "So you resent your sister?" her mother said flatly. "No. I resent you for making me responsible for her, for making me responsible for all of it." Her mother's expression hardened. "We did the best we could. Raising children is hard. Raising them in 2 cultures is harder. We made choices we thought were right. And those choices sacrificed me for her. Every single time." "That's not how we saw it." "I know. That's the problem." Her father sat down heavily on the couch. "What do you want from us, Yara? An apology? We're sorry. We're sorry you felt overlooked. Is that enough?" Yara felt tears prick her eyes. "No. Because you don't mean it. You're just saying it to make this stop." "Then what do you want?" "I want you to see me. Really see me. Not as the strong one or the responsible one, or the one who doesn't need as much. Just as your daughter, who wanted the same love you gave Mina." Her mother's voice cracked. "We do love you. I know. But your love came with conditions. Be strong, be understanding, be convenient. Mina's didn't." "That's not fair," her mother said, and now she was crying too. "We never meant to make you feel like that. But you did. And when I told you I was leaving, Instead of being happy for me, you called me selfish." Her mother wiped her eyes. "Because it felt selfish. We need you here." "Why? For what?" "For family. For your grandmother. For us. You have Mina. Mina is in Paris. And I'm going to Berlin. You'll survive both." Her father stood up. "This isn't just about practicality. This is about respect, about family obligation. In our culture—" "Which culture?" Yara cut him off. "Yours or Mom's? Because I'm both and I'm neither. And I've spent my whole life translating between the two. I'm tired." "So you're abandoning your culture?" "I'm choosing myself. If that means abandoning a culture that only valued me for what I could do for others, then yes." The room went silent. Her mother's face was pale. "I can't believe you're saying these things. I can't believe it took me this long to say them." Her father moved toward the door. "We should go, before this gets worse." "It can't get worse," Yara said. "This is just the first time it's honest." Her mother followed her father, but stopped at the door. "When you get to Berlin and you realize how hard it is to be alone, don't expect us to welcome you back with open arms." The threat hung in the air. Yara felt something inside her go very calm. "I won't, because I'd rather be alone than invisible." Her mother flinched like she'd been slapped. They left without another word. Yara closed the door and slid down against it, letting herself cry for the first time since this all started. Not because she regretted what she'd said, but because it hurt to be right. It hurt to know that her family's love had limits she'd finally crossed. It hurt to realize that being herself was incompatible with being theirs. The next 3 months were a blur of logistics: selling furniture, packing boxes, saying goodbye to friends who couldn't quite understand why she was leaving. Jordan helped her move out of her apartment. "You doing okay?" "I don't know," Yara admitted. "I keep waiting to feel guilty, but I just feel free." "That's not a bad thing." "It feels bad, like I should miss them more than I do." "You miss who you wanted them to be. That's different." Yara thought about that as she taped up the last box. Maybe Jordan was right. Maybe she'd been mourning the family she'd wanted, not the one she'd had. She didn't hear from her parents again. Mina sent occasional messages from Paris, surface-level stuff, pictures of the Eiffel Tower, comments about her classes, nothing real. Yara responded the same way, kept it light, kept it distant. It was easier that way. The day before her flight to Berlin, Yara's grandmother called. "I heard you're leaving," she said in Yoruba. "Yes, Grandma. Your mother is very upset." "I know. Are you happy with this choice?" Yara paused. No one had asked her that. "Yes, I think so." Her grandmother was quiet for a moment. "Then go. But don't let anger make you forget where you came from." "I won't. And Yara, you were never invisible to me." Yara's throat tightened. "Thank you." After she hung up, she sat with those words. "You were never invisible to me." It helped. A little. Berlin was exactly what she needed. Anonymous, fast-paced. A place where no one knew her as the responsible one, the mediator, the bridge. She was just Yara, and she got to decide what that meant. The work was challenging. The language barrier was frustrating. The loneliness hit her some nights like a physical thing. But she didn't regret it. She made friends, dated, traveled on weekends, built a life that belonged entirely to her. Mina came back from Paris after a year. They texted about meeting up. It never happened. The distance between them wasn't just geographical anymore. 2 years turned into 3, 3 into 4. Yara's contract in Berlin ended, but she found another position, then another. She moved to Amsterdam, then Copenhagen. She stopped thinking about going home because she was building one wherever she went. Her parents never reached out. She didn't either. Some silences were too loud to break. But 5 years after she left, she got a message from Mina. "Can we talk?" They met in London, neutral ground, a cafe in Shoreditch that neither of them had been to before. Mina looked different, older, more settled somehow. "Hi," she said when Yara walked in. "Hi." They ordered coffee and sat across from each other, and for a moment neither of them knew what to say. Finally, Mina spoke. I'm getting married. Congratulations. I wanted to tell you in person before I sent the invitation. Are you inviting me? Do you want to be invited? Yara considered. I don't know. Do you want me there, or do you just think you should want me there? Mina smiled sadly. I've been in therapy for 2 years trying to figure that out. And? I want you there, but I understand if you don't come. What does Mom think? She doesn't know I'm here. Yara raised her eyebrows. Really? I needed to see you without them, without all the history. Mina looked down at her coffee. I've thought a lot about what you said, about me needing to learn to let you go. Have you? I'm trying. It's harder than I thought. Most things worth doing are. Mina looked up. Do you hate me? No. Do you forgive me? Yara thought about it, really thought. I don't know if there's anything to forgive. You were who they let you be, same as me. That feels like a cop-out. Maybe. But it's true. They sat with that for a while. I miss you, Mina said quietly. Not the you who fixed everything. Just you. I miss you too, sometimes. Only sometimes. I had to stop missing you to survive leaving. I can't just turn that back on. Mina nodded, tears in her eyes. I understand. Do you? Because 5 years ago you didn't. 5 years ago I was a child pretending to be an adult. I'm actually an adult now. It's different. Despite everything, Yara smiled. How? I pay my own bills. I handle my own problems. I go to therapy instead of calling you when I'm upset. Mina paused. I learned how to be a person without you holding me up. It sucked. But I did it. Good. Is it? Sometimes I wonder if I lost you for nothing. You didn't lose me for nothing. You lost me because I had to save myself. Mina wiped her eyes. Are you happy? In Copenhagen? Yes, most days. Do you think you'll ever come home? Yara leaned back in her chair. That's the thing, Mina. I don't think of there as home anymore. Home is wherever I am. That's what I had to learn. That sounds lonely. Sometimes it is, but it's mine. They finished their coffee in a silence that wasn't quite comfortable, but wasn't hostile either. When they stood to leave, Mina hugged her, quick and uncertain. Send me the invitation, Yara said. I'll think about it. Okay. And Mina, I'm happy for you. I really am. I know. They walked out together and went in opposite directions. Yara didn't go to the wedding. She sent a gift and a card with a message she meant, wishing you everything I never let myself want. Mina sent back a photo, her in her wedding dress, smiling, genuinely happy. On the back she'd written, thank you for teaching me it's okay to choose yourself, even when it hurt. Yara put the photo in a drawer and didn't look at it for months. 7 years after leaving, Yara finally went back to visit. Not for long, just a weekend, her grandmother's 80th birthday. Her parents were cordial, distant. They asked about her work in the same tone you'd use with an acquaintance. She answered the same way. Mina was there with her husband. They were expecting their first child. You're going to be an aunt, Mina said. I heard. Will you want to meet them? Maybe, if I'm invited. You're always invited, Yara. But they both knew that wasn't really true. Not anymore. On her last night there, Yara stood in her old room. It had been converted into a guest room. Nothing of hers remained. She wasn't sad about it. If anything, it confirmed what she'd known for years. She'd been erased the moment she'd stopped being useful. Her mother found her there. They stood in the doorway together, not speaking. Finally, her mother said, Do you think we failed you? Yara turned to look at her. Yes, her mother flinched. But I failed myself too, Yara continued. By not speaking up sooner, by letting you think my silence was agreement. Would it have changed anything? I don't know, maybe not, but at least I wouldn't have spent years wondering. Her mother nodded slowly. I'm sorry, for whatever that's worth now. It's worth something, just not everything. They didn't hug, didn't cry, just stood there with 7 years of distance between them and no bridge left to cross it. The next morning, Yara flew back to Copenhagen. She never moved back, not permanently. She visited occasionally, for birthdays, for funerals, for the moments you can't skip without becoming a stranger entirely. But she built her life elsewhere, with people who chose her without conditions, with work that fulfilled her, with a version of herself that didn't require constant translation. Years later, when people asked about her family, she'd say they were complicated, and when they pushed for details, she'd simply say, "I didn't lose my sister the day I left. I lost her the day my sacrifice stopped being optional." Some people understood, some didn't. Yara didn't need them to. She'd spent enough of her life making other people understand her choices. Now she just lived them, and that was enough. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. This story isn't just about family or sacrifice. It's about recognizing when love has become a cage and having the courage to walk out of it, even when everyone tells you you're wrong. Drop a comment below if you've ever been the strong one in your family and tell me how you handled it. And if this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button because there are more stories like this coming. Like this video if you felt something. Share it if you know someone who needs to hear it. Your story matters. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise.